Hello and welcome back to the Movie Memo Recaps. Today we are going to recap a 2022 movie titled Renegades. Please be advised that there will be spoilers ahead. The film begins with two Green Berets questioning a suspect regarding the location of some hostages. There is an impending strike, but the interrogator, Burton, chooses to stay behind to obtain answers. He shoots the man in the leg, but he laughs it off, claiming he will never discover the captives. Burton has had enough and shoots the man in the head, killing him, but he only smiles. When Burton takes off his hood, he is shocked to see his own face. Burton, who is now destitute, wakes up on a park bench, revealing that this was all a nightmare. He goes to the adjoining bathrooms to wash up, glancing at his war wounds. He then places flowers on his father's grave and salutes proudly. We next witness Mafia Lord Gorm drive up to his gang's hideout. They kidnap some women to use in their trafficking operation, but Gorm doesn't like their appearance and tells his men to clean them up before bringing them to his whorehouse. For the following mission, Gorm's men had apprehended a rival who refused to cease doing business in Gorm's territory. Gorm urges him to leave the city, but the man dismisses Gorm as an old man. Despite the insult, Gorm will let him live to send a message to his buddies, but if they cross him again, he will murder them all. The captured man is unaware of the situation and flips Gorm off, so Gorm sends him to the Red Room. Carver, his father's colleague, welcomes Burton, having missed him during their meetings. Carver has heard about Burton's living conditions and offers him a place, food, and clothing in order to help him get back on his feet. Gorm has taken his hostage to the Red Room, where he uses an axe to cut off the man's fingers, instructing his soldiers to ensure that everyone sees him. Burton cleans himself up before heading to a nearby tavern with Carver. There, they meet other former soldiers who share their stories about the trials of combat and life thereafter. Burton is standing a distance away, listening in, while another soldier, Peck, explains that they do not intend to abandon any of their colleagues, including Burton. Gorm dispatches his hitman, Savo, to assassinate the man they previously released. When Savo puts out his cigar and enters the apartment building, the man inside is preparing coffee. He knocks on a door, but it's the wrong apartment, and the woman politely directs him to the correct location. At that point, two police officers arrive at the apartment complex to speak with the victim. When Savo arrives at the appropriate apartment and shoots the man, the cops hear the gunfire and pursue. Detective Moore pursues Savo as he flees the scene. She catches up to the other cop, but Savo has already fled. Back at the pub, the men invite Burton to share something with them. Burton ultimately tells them about the nightmares he's having and how real they feel. He never had a normal life because he joined the military at a young age, and the horrors he had to witness and participate in had a significant impact on him. When the good memories faded, only the terrible ones emerged, leading him down a dark path. After sharing this personal anecdote, all of the men chuckle about who gets to buy everyone a drink. After the meeting, Burton thanks Carver for inviting him. Carver leaves him the house keys since he needs to help his daughter with something. Carver then goes to a tavern run by Savo, but the doorman stops him. He tries to insult Carver, but Carver punches him in the throat, knocking him unconscious. He goes inside, where Savo is astonished to see the elderly man, but Carver informs him that he gave the bouncer his ID. The gang has been intimidating Carver's daughter, a neighborhood counselor, and Carver respectfully requests they cease. Carver criticizes their poor approach and warns of their eventual discovery. Savo interprets his comments as a threat, but Carver tells him that it's only an opportunity to do the right thing before departing. The men contact Gorm and tell him about the elderly man. Later, as Carver traverses the park, he discovers that someone is following him. He calls Peck's phone and hangs up to provide his whereabouts. Carver soon finds himself surrounded by Savo's men. Carver stands his ground, knocking out one man before they all rush in and savagely attack him on the street. Carver's daughter enters the apartment and is frightened by Burton. She asks for her father, who did not return home last night, and discovers that he should have been with her. Judy recognizes Burton's name because their fathers were once in the same unit. She is anxious about her father and has tried and failed to contact him. Burton asks Judy if she knows what he had to help her with, and she answers no but appears to be concealing the truth. She is back at home when Detective Moore and Collins arrive and convey the terrible news to her, and she bursts into tears. Judy phones Burton, alerting him to the news of Carver's death. She informs him that the police would be contacting him shortly to gather information regarding Carver's last whereabouts and requests that Burton attend his burial when it is publicized. Moore and Collins proceed to see Burton, who tells them how Carver has been helping him out. Burton doesn't see why anybody would want to kill Carver, so the detectives leave, vowing to remain in touch. At the funeral, all former troops pay their respects and promise to be there for Judy. Judy rushes outdoors to gather her breath, and Burton follows her. She is outraged and wants the men apprehended and dealt with. She ultimately admits that she is the counselor and has been combating the growing drug problem in the neighborhood. As a result, she began to get death threats. She informs Burton that Gorm has been expanding his domain and is threatening to overtake the town. She told Carver about the problems she was having, and Burton now knows why. Burton returns to the pub, where Peck, Woody, and Harris are talking. He informs them that they have a chance to apprehend Carver's murderers and describes the scenario with Judy and Gorm's gang. Since Carver was a decent man and the police are not investigating the case, Burton feels motivated to avenge him. Because he knows where the group is, he intends to stake it out, get additional information, and then engage. Harris believes it's a death mission since the new guys on the street are brutal. Woody and Peck decide to join Burton, prompting Harris to eventually join them. They then intend to meet tomorrow to determine what weaponry they have. Gorm is at his office when Collins and Moore pay him a visit. They want Gorm to accompany them to the station, but he refuses since he understands what is going on and claims that the old man's death hurts him in his heart. They inquire about Gorm's movements on the night of the murder, but he claims to have been playing cards with his guys, and there is video evidence to back him up. With this, the cops decide to depart, but Moore instructs him to send in his witnesses and video recordings, which he claims to have. Burton is in the apartment and nearly bursts into tears when staring at a photo of Carver. The men get together the next day. Burton has packed 2 Glocks and a flash grenade, while Peck has an outdated handgun. However, Woody has brought garden shears, a fishing reel, and a crossbow. Harris wants to go last, so he pulls out a real grenade and a live claymore. Burton reminds the guys that they can back out at any time, but Harris is determined to blow something up. The men begin spying out the gang hangout and witness an exchange. They follow the courier back into town and notice him pull up to the club, suspecting this is where Carver headed. Peck intends to see a man named Sanchez to learn more about the gang and its activities. Peck and Woody go to meet with Sanchez, while Burton and Harris enter the club as regular customers. They buy beverages and a seat and notice a man they believe to be in control. Burton then pretends to photograph Harris, capturing the man sitting exactly behind him. He then intends to send it to Peck to see if Sanchez can identify anyone. Peck goes to meet with Sanchez, who apologizes for Carver. Peck shows him the photo Burton sent over, and Sanchez recognizes the man as one of Gorm's 3 henchmen, known collectively as the 4 Horsemen. Sanchez goes on to explain how Gorm is part of a broader gang that is taking over Europe and runs a large drug and human trafficking racket. He continues to describe their ferocity, compelling even elderly criminals such as himself to retreat or risk death. He advises Peck to prepare himself before confronting the gang. He pledges to provide information because he is too old to battle, but Peck threatens to kill them all. The 4 men then reorganize, preparing to launch an assault on the club. Harris enters the club in a suit, claiming to want some alone time with a woman. When he enters the room, he draws his gun and warns the other men. Woody creates a distraction outside, while Burton storms in, guns blazing, demanding the location of their warehouse from an injured man, who lunges for his gun and is shot. Just then, a girl nearby confesses that she knows where the gang's storehouse is and directs them there. Moore and Collins, who appear to be the only detectives in London, are sent to the scene to determine who was brave enough to attack Gorm. We then observe Harris pretending to be drunk outside Savo's club when the lights inside go out. The bouncer tries to chase Harris but gets hit from the back. Burton and Peck, wearing complete masks, then arrive and begin slaughtering everyone, including the bartender. Despite Savo's attempts to fight back, they shoot him, leaving him injured. They force Savo to contact Gorm and inform him before shooting him dead. Burton then gets a ledger from nearby before returning to the car and departing. Gorm and his companion recall Carver's mention of a councilwoman. Gorm instructs his man to search for Judy, and they proceed to locate the 4 elderly men. He then tells his soldier to get the ledger, even if it means killing everyone. Moore is at a meeting with her superintendent, who believes the killings are personal. Moore expresses her suspicions about the 4 elderly men, and the superintendent believes the geriatrics may be involved. She wants Moore to contact her ex-CIA, Donovan, and see if he can arrange background checks on the elderly guys. Burton arrives at Judy's home, where a thug is keeping watch. He exhorts the man to go bearing a message for Gorm. His time is running out. He then goes to Judy to explain what has happened. Moore contacts Donovan, who has information about Peck, Woody, and Harris but believes they are too old to fight. Moore worries about Burton, who has participated in classified global missions he cannot access. Despite their age, he believes these elderly men can pick off Gorm since they are more than capable. The 4 men make plans to attack Gorm's warehouse intending to lure the gangsters to confront them at their hideout, which they would have revealed to Sanchez. At Gorm's warehouse, Woody ambushes a guard and shoots him with a crossbow before summoning the others. Harris installs a bomb beneath a car before coming under fire from Gorm and his soldiers. The men flee to their car, while Gorm pursues them. The warehouse eventually explodes. Peck phones Sanchez and discovers that Gorm has all of his guys looking for them. Burton reveals their intention to lure Gorm to hunt them, and Sanchez knows the proper person to perform the job. Gorm orders his men to take Judy. He receives a call from Apollo, who gives him information on where the old guys are hiding. Apollo works for the same syndicate as Gorm and warns him to handle business or prepare to retire early. Gorm's thugs arrested Judy while she was at home. The men gather again, this time in a gloomy tone, as they prepare to face their creator. They raise a drink to Carver and prepare themselves. A few hours later, Gorm's army approaches the tavern, fully armed, and surrounds it. The guys inside take their places, and as they enter, the old soldiers unleash an attack on them. While Burton successfully repels a few men, Peck sustains a gunshot wound to his leg but manages to kill his attacker. Soon later, Gorm appears, holding Judy at gunpoint and insisting that the guys hand over his ledger or he will kill her. Burton raises his gun at him but is compelled to back down for Judy's safety. Gorm attempts to kill him, but Woody shoots Gorm, who escapes. Outside, Moore and Collins, who are responding to gunfire, shoot and kill one of Gorm's men. Burton searches for Gorm but is ambushed and attacked. Gorm has another of his men present, and they both attack Burton. Burton struggles to resist their attacks until Judy intervenes to provide assistance. She flees, with the man after her, but Woody kills him with a fishing reel. With no help, Burton effortlessly kills Gorm by breaking his neck. Moore and Collins arrive at the pub to find all four men sitting and drinking, claiming they were going to call the cops. The men explain that unknown armed men burst into their tavern and forced them to shoot everyone. One man dropped a ledger, which they submit to the police, who accept their excuses. A few days later, the guys, Judy, and Moore convene to celebrate Carver. Sanchez calls Peck to congratulate him and inform him that a friend is on his way to see him. Shortly after, a man arrives, familiarizing himself with everyone's names, introducing himself as Palmer, a member of a secret agency seeking their services, and leaving behind a flash drive containing additional information. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.